In today's video, we will discuss how to plot an FTIR spectra in OriginPro software and how to assign peaks to that spectra. For example, if you have an FTIR spectra in DPT file, then you need to open that FTIR spectra into Notepad. For example, I have this FTIR spectra in Notepad form. We have already discussed about how to open any DPT file into Notepad or Excel sheet. If you have not checked that video, we will provide the link of that video in description. You can check from that. Okay, so whatever the Notepad data or DPT or Excel sheet data you have, you just need to copy paste. First of all, you just need to copy paste your data, first press Ctrl A for selecting all data, then press Ctrl C for copying, and then open Excel sheet for pasting that data into Excel sheet. If you want to plot in Excel sheet, you can in Excel sheet, but if you want to plot in more professional way, then we must suggest to use OriginPro software for that. For example, after copy pasting, I just press Ctrl V to copy paste my data here. Here you can see this row needs to be removed. For example, it has just mentioned that transmittance is in percentage, so we don't need this row. So we will we will right click and then delete this row. Okay, so if I need to plot FTIR spectra from here, you can see it appears as one column, so I need to separate this column into two columns. So there is no need. For example, if I press on this, this value appear as one value, and there is a space here. You can see there is a space after digit 2 here, so I need to remove this space here. So what can I do for removing this space? Or for example, if your FTIR data has any kind of comma in between two values, then how do you remove that comma or that space? We have already uploaded a video on it. If you have not checked that, we will provide the link of in the description. If you can check from that. So once you remove space or comma, this data has been separated into two different columns. Here you can see we have divided or split the data into two different columns. So first of all, we need to select by pressing Ctrl A. For example, you can just click on these two rows and then press Ctrl C and copy paste your data into origin file. Here you just press Ctrl V and the data is pasted. So here you need to mention is x-axis title and y-axis title. So usually on FTIR spectra, on x-axis we take wave number, that is usually in per centimeter, and on y-axis we take a transmittance, that is in percentage. Okay, so for transmittance, its unit we usually written here as percentage. So after mentioning, we need to plot its graph. So after pasting your data, you just need to select the data from here and then go to plot and select line graph. Okay, so after selecting line graph, this FTIR spectra has been plotted as this. So from this FTIR spectra, you need to mention its peaks, and you can write the names of functional groups on that FTIR spectra, or if you want to tag the peaks on FTIR spectra, you can do it easily. So we don't need this kind of information here, because we are plotting only one line. So we can remove this by right click and then delete. So if you want to add lines of this graph on all its sides, then you just need to first click on graph, and when you click on graph, this will appear here, and you can select that second point from here, that is layer frame. So after clicking on this, you can see this frame has been added to these two sides as well. Okay, so whenever you plot FTIR graph, you first need to mention its a wave number, like on x-axis, and transmittance on in percentage on y-axis. So here you can see that wave number has a unit of per centimeter, but this -1 must be in superscript. So how we can change here? For example, in when you plot when you paste your data, you don't have any option to superscript and subscript here. For example, if we write like in long number, like long name, then there is no option of selecting superscript and subscript. It appears as gray. So in name there is no option of superscript and subscript. So in units, when you are going to write units, you need to mention -1 in superscript. So when you are writing units, you can write cm, centimeter, and then for per centimeter you can select subscript or superscript from here. So for example, if you want to write both superscript and subscript, then you can select this. If you want to write in subscript like H2O, then you can write 2 in subscript of hydrogen, you can select this. But if you want to write in superscript, you can select this option. So I would select this and then write -1 and then remove this superscript by again clicking on it, and then close the bracket of this one like per centimeter. So here you can write -1 in superscript, whereas in long range a name, there is no option of superscript and subscript, because usually the name must be in a normal form, not in italics or not in superscript or subscript form. Okay, so after doing these changes, you can see that -1 has been placed in superscript. So if you want to make this title as bold, then we will just click on it and then select B from here. This will be bold. And if you want to make this as well bold, then click on transmittance or axis title and then click on B. Okay, if you want to change its size or font style, then you can simply select from, for example, whatever the size you want to keep, for example 20 or 22, and want to change its font style like Times New Roman, then you can select from here. And for this as well, you need to go to font style after selecting, and then Times New Roman, and size is 22. Okay, so here you can do some minor or major formatting. Okay, so here you can see our graph start from nearly 480 or 460. So we need to first adjust the scale of x-axis and y-axis. So y-axis is almost okay. For example, the graph is normally starting from 97 or 97.6 something value and goes to 108. So here this kind of space must be there, so that graph will not look messy. So I think y-axis scale is okay, but we need to adjust x-axis scale. So first of all, for any FTIR spectra, you need to adjust its scale. For example, the FTIR spectra on x-axis scale, it must be start from higher value like 4500 and then end on a lower value, because in FTIR spectra, when usually you have checked in many papers that they have mentioned the range of FTIR from 4000 per centimeter to 500 per centimeter. Although many papers have reported range starting from lowest value to highest value like 500 to 4000, but the best method or best way to write range or to mention the scale is to starting from highest value and ending to lowest value only in case of FTIR spectra and only in case of wave number. So for this, if you need to change its x-axis scale, double click on the any of x-axis value, and when you double click on any x-axis value, this box will appear. Just go to scale, and then it appears as from to 2. So from 4 we will select 4000 we will select 4000, because the graph is nearly about 4000. Okay, so because after this data appears at some point greater than 4000, but it is not a major peak, we can skip this. Okay, and from our graph must start from 4000 and end to like 450, and after setting these changes, click on OK. So here you can see the graph will appear like this, that it start from 4000 to 450. So here this FTIR graph has been plotted as. Okay, so for this, sorry, the graph must be up to 400, because one major peak has been disappeared here. like this one. Okay, so what you need to do, you just need to assign peaks to this graph now, for example. But before that, if you want to change the width of this peak of this line, and if you want to change its color, you can do it. For example, just place the cursor on line and click on it. Once you click, this will appear here, and it is asking either you want to make its changes to its width or not. If, for example, if I make its width to 1.5, then line will be appear as this. Okay, so you can adjust the width of line according to your requirement. And if you want to change its color, you can also do that. For example, if I select pink color, then it will appear as. You can also do these changes by placing cursor on any point on the line and then clicking on it, and then you can also select from here, for example, whatever the color. For example, if you want to change its dotted, you can make it dotted, but usually the FTIR Spectra is in solid line. You can keep it as solid. If you want to make it like a short dash dot, it will appear like this, but it will look messy and not feasible for FTIR Spectra specifically. You can change the color width or its weight from here, and you can also select its color from here. Okay, so these are the major changes in your FTIR Spectra. So now what we need to do, our main task is to assign peaks to this FTIR Spectra. So for assigning peaks, you just place cursor on any point of the line and then click on it. After clicking, you need to go to analysis, and you need to go to gadgets, and after clicking on gadgets, you will go to quick peaks. After clicking on quick peaks, a dialog box like this will appear here. You just need to click on OK, and when you click on OK, this yellow box will appear. This is the box that assign peaks to your FTIR Spectra. So once you click on it, for example, here it is showing 6 different peaks at wave number this. Okay, so in this position you are unable to identify the exact peaks. So if you want to assign peaks at a time, you can assign peaks, for example, tag peaks, and then all peaks will be tagged, and then you can close from here. So you can also tag peaks from by this method. But if you want to assign peaks by according to your literature data, that your peaks should match literature data, and if you want to assign peaks one by one, then you need to reduce the width of that yellow box. For example, again go to gadgets, and then quick peaks, click on OK. And if you want to reduce its size, you can reduce its size by this, and after that it will show a peak. Like you can check peak one by one. For example, here this is peak, this peak is showing there, and you can after see that it is about 8-10 per centimeter. Okay, so after checking peaks individually one by one, you if you need to tag that peak. So for tagging peaks, you need to go to that arrow point. Once you click on this arrow point, it will appear like top menu bar. From this top menu bar, you need to select tag peaks. So after selecting tag peaks, this peak will be tagged. So now you want to move this yellow portion from this point to another point, so you need to place cursor on it and then drag it on some other point. So here you can see this peak has been assigned. Okay, so after assigning this peak, you can change its size and font style manually. For example, if you want to change its size speaker 14 and want to change its style as Times New Roman, you can do it. Okay, but if you want to make its style this style to continue for next peaks as well, you need to double click on this value, and then you can change its style and color, etc. For example, you can change this on, you can go to display. It is showing left y-axis. What the left y-axis it means? For example, this line, you can see that this is a red line, small okay, first we close this. This is a small red line that is showing the peak, that here is a peak. So if you want to change the color of this line, small line, you can change its color to black. And if you want to change its size as well, you can select when you place cursor and select that line, an information appears, like if you want to change its color. For example, if I change its color to 24, then this line will appear as this 24, like its size will increase. So if you want to keep this line in your FTIR spectra, it's up to you. But if you want to remove this line, you can place cursor, select, and then you can reduce its size to 0. This line will disappear. Okay, but again, if you want to remove this line, if you place cursor on it after selecting, and then right click, and if you remove this line, remove, and this it means the that value also remove with along with this line. But if you only want to remove this line and want to keep that value in FTIR spectra, you can reduce its size by selecting, and you can reduce its size to 0. Okay, so this is usually students want to remove this line because they want to add some other lines as well. For example, here you can mention this peak, but it looks messy when you assign all peaks. You need to present your FTIR spectra in more attractive and captivating way. For this reason, you need to select some lines. For example, here if I manually add lines, want to manually add lines, and I will go to this menu bar, and from this I will select this line tool. And after clicking on line tool, you can select any curve tool or arc tool. For example, if I select line tool, then I will select this, and after that I will it's just like the option of insert as we use in Microsoft Word format. Okay, so at that in that version, you also go to insert point and then select shape, and then draw that shape in your Word document. So similar is with this origin. Once you have plotted, when you select this line, it will appear like if you want to increase its size. For example, if I keep its size to 2, and will keep its color as black. But if I want to make this line as a dotted line, as short dot, it will appear like this. So after selecting, I will drag this line to this point here, and then I will keep select this value and drag this value close to this point. So it looks more good as compared to with like just mentioning the peak value here, like in this form. So for making your FTIR spectra captivating, you need to draw these lines so that peaks will appear as clear to readers. Okay, so again, if you want to assign peaks at one time, you just need to select this yellow line, and then you can increase its width. Here all peaks have been assigned. If you want to save your time and want to assign peaks at a time, so you can select from this and you can select from this arrow point and then click on tag peaks. But if you need to mention only specific peaks, you can reduce its size. For example, here, for example, if I want to assign this peak, I will drag this yellow portion to at that peak, and then click on arrow and then tag peaks. So here after tagging peaks, you can move this for portion to next portion, next peak, and you can also click on arrow and then tag peaks. So here peaks have been tagged. After that, you can manually change its font style and font size. Okay, so you can also copy paste this line from here, and by selecting and pressing Ctrl C, and then after that press Ctrl V, this line has been pasted. You need to move this value to above point, and then you need to place this line at this peak so that you can directly link this value to this. For example, if you want to mention functional groups along with these values, for example, I keep this line here and then move this value to here, this point. Okay, so here you can see these dotted lines assigning different peaks, and its respective wave number has been mentioned in the FTIR spectra. Okay, so you can adjust its font style and font size from this point or this point. Okay, so if once you all your peaks have been assigned, you just need to press this X, like for yellow point, press or click on close point. That point or yellow portion will disappear. So here you can tag all the peaks in your FTIR spectra. For example, if you want to add functional groups along with this wave number, you need to add text. For example, here you can see a text tool. Go to text tool from this menu bar, click on it, and then after that press place cursor where you want to add your function group. For example, I want to add functional group with this wave number, then I place my cursor here. Then I can write my functional group here. For example, if I want to mention carboxylic CO bond, then I will write as CO, and either stretching or bending vibration, CO stretching, and I can adjust its size and font style as well. For example, I will keep it as 14 and its style as Times New Roman. And if you want to change its color, you can go to here this point, font color, select any color that you want. For example, if I keep it as blue, then it will appear as this, and you can make adjust this point to that point. Okay, so in this way you can assign wave number tags, assign peaks to your FTIR spectra, and you can also write your function groups along with these wave number in your FTIR spectra. So if you want to just mention groups without mentioning its stretching or bending vibration, you can mention groups, and it looks more nice when you mention only groups rather than to mention stretching and bending vibrations along with the spectra. It will looks like a messy FTIR, like you are assigning peaks and mentioning function groups as well. So here you can assign in this way you can assign peaks, and you can mention the function groups in your FTIR spectra in origin file. Once you have completed this FTIR spectra, after assigning all peaks, you can simply go to and want to save this file in PNG form. Then you need to go to here file, and after clicking on file, from this top menu bar you just need to go to here export graph, and from when you place cursor on export graph, you can click on open dialog. From open dialog you can name file, like if I want to name it as FTIR, then I will write as FTIR, whatever the image type you need, either is PNG, TIFF file, or PDF or JPEG, whatever the format you want. If I keep it as PNG, and file path, wherever you want to save your data, for example desktop or any other folder, you can select from here, and I have chosen desktop, and DPI. You can also adjust DPI of your FTIR spectra from here, either 300 or 600, 900. So I keep as 300, so it looks more professional in the 300 DPI. Okay, so you can adjust its width and height as well. Okay, so file will be saved as this. You can click on OK. So here in this way you can save this FTIR spectra in your selected folder. So if you want to change its width and height, you can also do that manually. For example, here after clicking on graph, you can increase its width and height as well, but if you want to decrease, you can also do it as well. So for example, if I increase its height and width, I will simply drag these points below and above. So here in this way your FTIR spectra, in your FTIR spectra you can assign peaks, and you can mention function groups relevant to that wave number in your FTIR spectra, and you can save FTIR spectra in a PNG form. So here you can see this is the one of the FTIR spectra that we have already plotted with the OriginPro software. So here you can see different lines here and different wave numbers that are assigning to each peak by the same method that we have already discussed. If you have two types of data, you just need to go to origin file. For example, go to project explorer, then click on book 1. Make a new column here by pressing Ctrl D. Then click on yes, and a number of columns, 1 or 2, whatever the number of columns you want to plot. Then click on 1. If for example in this case, if I need to add, for example here in this case you can see one line is for zinc oxide and the other is for zinc oxide silicon oxide, and then you need to mention your uh, new data here in this column, and then click on this. For example, if I select some points from here and copy paste here, and then I select these points and then go to plot, and then from plot you can select line graph. So this point, for example, this red line, that some data that I have copy pasted, just to show you, you can adjust this point. Okay, so if you have 2 samples or 3 samples, you can also make FTIR of these dat samples in one graph as well, like in as we have shown in this, and we have assigned the peaks to them by these lines. If you want to keep that red line that come with the wave number value, you can also change its width and size to so that it appears or it looks for example here in this case, whatever here, for example here you can change its color as well and change its width to make it more clear to the readers. Okay, so for this graph, for example the graph we have plotted with 2 samples, here you can see it appears like this, that you need to mention that what red line and what black line shows. So first for this we need to go to book and then we can assign here in comments section. For example, this is before adsorption data, and this data is after adsorption. So if you want to mention these labels in your FTIR Spectra, you need to write these in comments row, and after writing you can see that this is also appear in your FTIR Spectra, like before adsorption and after adsorption. This red line is for after adsorption and this black line is for before adsorption. You can also adjust its font style and font size by clicking, and once you click on it, it will appear like you can adjust its font size like 16, and font style as well, Times New Roman or Arial or whatever. So here you can see its size or font size has been modified according to your requirement. If you want to keep this border of black color with this, you can. If you want to remove this border, you just need to click on it. After clicking, you can go to here, this point, line border or line color. From this line border, if you want to make it pink, you can adjust its color, but if you want to remove it, you can go to border color and then you can select white. So once you select white, you can see this border has been removed or it appears as white, so it is not clear as in previous case. Okay, like in this case. So here you can select or you can when you copy paste data of more than one sample, you can simply plot FTIR Spectra and you can assign peaks to that FTIR Spectra. For example, if I need to assign peak to this line, red line, then I need to select this line and then go to gadgets and then quick peaks, click on OK, and this will appear, and you need to reduce its size so that you can assign peak to this red point. Okay, so after that click on this arrow and then tag peaks. So here you can assign peak to this red line, but if you want to assign peak to this black line, you can drag this yellow point and place it wherever the black line is. You can then assign peak to this black line. So here in this way you can assign peaks to each line of your sample in your origin file, and you can write its any other functional groups on that spectra, and you can also link peaks to a specific wave number by plotting these lines or dotted lines or solid lines, so that it look more clear to you and for readers as well. So I hope this video helps you in making plotting and assigning peaks to FTIR Spectra. And in next video we will discuss how to adjust FTIR spectra, how to adjust the peaks of FTIR spectra so that it will match to the literature peaks, so that it is easy for you to cite your data by referring to some specific papers. So stay tuned with young researchers. If this video helps you in plotting your graphs in origin and in assigning peaks, then don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video so that others may also get benefit from it. Stay tuned with young researchers. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.